welcome back. You see, Santa is still here. A long time ago in the 30s and the 40s, Santa came to Arlington as well as in the years 2003 and 2004 and 2005. Although he did come a little bit differently. Sometimes he would come on a buckboard. Sometimes he would come, on a fire truck, an old fire truck that is. Sometimes he would come in an old wooden school bus. You never knew how he was going to come, but he always came, and he always went to the well. Now, Arlington had a well in downtown. Now, people probably say, downtown Arlington? Where is that? Simple. Halfway between the City Hall and the library, there's a manhole. And that's where the well was, because at one time it had well water in it, but it was mineral water and it didn't taste very good. So not many people drank it. But that's where Santa would come, and that's where we would go and give him our wish list. Now, my Santa today, I'm not sure how he got here from the North Pole, but I'm going to ask him, and I bet he'll tell us. Santa, did you come by sleigh?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did. But you know, Dorothy, something has happened that I think the kids need to know about. Do you know that there's more and more and more people in this world today? And the elves, we have to build more and more toys so all the kids will get one or two or five. And because of that, it's tougher for us to get to all the houses. We debated a long time about what we ought to do, because the elf or the reindeer could only go so fast. We thought about having another Santa, and no, we don't want to do that. So what we've done is we have purchased a brand new jet-propelled sleigh, and it's a whole lot bigger, and it hauls more toys, so we don't have to make as many trips back up to the North Pole. And it's got a GPS system on it, and it's got a computer where the elves can read the screen, and when we land on a child's rooftop, the GPS system sends a signal, it bounces off the satellite and comes right back down to our computer, and it tells us what boy or girl lives in that house, what they want for Christmas, and if they've been good or bad. And that's all important information. So we're able to still get around. And today, Bucky and I came down on that jet-propelled sleigh.
Well, what do your reindeers do when you get on the jet-propelled sleigh? Do they ride in the sleigh, or do they just stay at home?
Well, they always come with me. Like I told you, this is a much bigger sleigh, and they have their own compartment. And once in a while, we even have to use Rudolph because of the way his nose shines.
So you still have Rudolph. He
yeah.
still lives at the North Pole. I'm not going to ask you how old he is, but he's been around a long time.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest living reindeers.
Now, I understand you have a terrifically busy schedule. However, you are going to be in a very special place on Saturday, December the 2nd.
That's right.
Would you like to tell us about that special place you're going to be?
Well, the early part of the day I'll be at Santaland at Lincoln Square doing my market research. And I think I explained to you before that the market research I do is finding out what toys the kids want so that the next year we'll have plenty of them. And so we'll be there talking to the kids. And then we're going to close at 5, and we're going to go downtown Arlington. And the elves and I are going to be on a couple of floats in the Parade of Lights. That's Saturday, December 2nd.
So actually, you too are going to go to the location of the well, which is downtown Arlington between City Hall and the library, and you will get on the float. And will you be leading the parade this year?
Well, that's what I've been told. Now, there's some pretty important people who are going to be in the parade, the mayor and the city council people. And I don't know if I'm going to be in front of them or behind them, but we'll do the parade route, and then I'm going to be there when they light the Christmas tree. And oh, it's a beautiful tree. It really is. And then right after that, I'm going to be ushered over to the library, and I'm going to have a chair there where I can sit and talk to the boys and girls, have pictures made, and if they want, well, we'll even tell them a story or two.
Well, I'm sure they will want to hear a story or two. It's just like that. I know our viewers out there right now would like to have another story. You mentioned Snowflake, the elf. Can you tell us a little bit more about Snowflake? And you did mention that it was a lady.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about Snowflake.
Well, a couple of things you need to know. Snowflake is probably that much taller than a regular elf. And the reason why, she's one of the few kids or elves that get enough vegetables. Her father, I guess, is cook. He owns his own restaurant, and they have access to a lot of vegetables and milk, and she's able to have grown a little bit more than the other elves. Right now, she's going to North Pole U. She's studying to be a nurse. She used to be a remote elf, which is out all over the country. We have remote elves that check on the kids. And then she was promoted. She came to the North Pole, and she did some work there, and finally she was promoted to be the chief elf, which means she's kind of the chief elf for all of the 386 elves I have working at the toy shop.
Well, that's a very special job. I'm sure she takes it very, very seriously.
Oh, she does. And did you know? She'll be one of the elves that I'm going to bring down for this parade.
Oh, how exciting. We'll be able to meet her.
Well, she'll probably be over there at the library when we're talking to all the kids. Mm-hmm. And there'll be some other elves there, but Snowflake is not going to come in her elf outfit. The reason why, she's just been elected as Miss North Pole City. She's our beauty queen for this year.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. She'll ride on the float, and she'll be dressed, and she'll have her ribbon on and a little crown, and I think the kids will really like her.
Now, you mentioned that a computer would tell you when you landed on a house where the kids had been good or had been bad. So what happened to the list, the book, naughty or nice?
Well, I used to have one of those over at Lincoln Square. I've been coming down to Arlington to do my market research, I guess 6, 7 years. And I like to come to Arlington because the kids are very talkative. And I used to have a book, and a lot of the kids would say, am I in the good kid or the bad kid book? Well, I only bought usually the good kid book, and I'd reach over on the table and I'd put it in front of them and I'd say, find your name, and they'd turn the pages until they came to the right letter of the alphabet, and then they'd go down the list. And if they found their name, they knew they were good. But if they didn't find their name, there wasn't a whole lot left to talk about.
Oh.
But now we've got it all computerized. And so it makes it much faster. You can imagine flying in my old-time open sleigh with a book for every city and pages flying out as the wind blows. Oh, it was terrible. Don't have to worry about that anymore with the computer.
Well, that's neat. Anyway, I just thought I'd ask because I imagine there are a lot of people that are watching this show grew up with their mother saying, now, if you don't behave yourself, you'll go in the naughty book, in Santa's naughty book. And so obviously everybody wanted to be in the nice book.
That's right.
And so I was just wondering when you mentioned computers, because I thought, the book is gone.
Well, that's true.
Everybody's safe. The book is gone.
There's a little boy that comes in to see me every year. He comes in 5 or 6 times. I think his mother gets her hair fixed there at the shopping center. And he was the first boy to ask me about how high I fly. And we've been talking about that in the new sleigh. And this little boy's name is Cody. And we got to know each other pretty good. And he still comes and sits on my lap. And I'll tell you, he wants to be an elf. And I've told him if he doesn't grow any more, and when he's 13, I'll consider taking him up to elf college. But anyway, he asked the question, how high do you fly? And I used to tell him, Cody, it's like this. I fly about 35,000 feet when I'm flying directly from Arlington back up to the North Pole. He was very curious about that. He says, up as high as the jet planes? And I'd say, yeah. And he'd say, well, how can I be able to see you up there? And I said, well, have you ever seen a jet plane going over and it's got smoke coming out of the back of it? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, that's called a contrail. And that's where that cold, moist air up high goes through that hot jet engine and comes out the back. It's like steam. And I said, it isn't smoke, it's steam. And he said, oh. And I said, now, if you ever look up there and you see a contrail going across the sky and there's no jet plane in front of it? And he said, yeah. I said, well, that'll be me. And so he and I have become very good friends.
Well, we'll have all the little boys and girls out looking up. Now, as you leave this afternoon to go home, we'll have all the little boys and girls looking up to see if they can find a contrail in the sky to see if you're going to make it okay. How long does it take you normally to deliver all your gifts? I know you start out early because of the time changes. You can go to Europe, and that's 12 hours before us, and Hawaii is 6 hours, I guess, behind us. So when you start out, which direction do you go?
Well, when I leave the North Pole, I always go south. Because you can't go any other direction.
That's true.
And that's another question that kids ask me a lot. Is there really a pole at the North Pole? And the answer to that is, yes, there is. And I tell them it's about that big around, and it's 60 feet high. And it has a red stripe that goes around and around and around. And every time it comes around, it drops 1 foot. And they say, well, what's it used for? And I tell them, that way, all I have to do in the morning when I wake up is count the number of times that red stripe comes around and subtract that from 60, and I know how deep the snow is. So it's part of our weather system.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to tell me it has a red light on it so you'd know where it was so you could find your way home. Santa, it's been a real pleasure to have you with us. And I say that literally. We're so glad that you came to tell your stories. They are so fascinating. And I know that you'll have lots of stories to tell to all the boys and girls who come on December the 2nd to visit you, and see you in the parade and visit you in the library. And for those of you who are watching, we have now entered what we call a season of traditions. Each and every family, no matter what you think or how you live your life, you have traditions that are important to your family that you keep at this time of the year. We hope that you'll have a fantastic holiday season with the traditions that you're going to have in your home. And so until next time, we do wish you the happiest of holidays, and may you have peace joy, and love.
That was good.